without any reasons given. They just say, wow, L-Take, you're embarrassing yourself. You're an idiot. It's just crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So the whole thing just makes it worse for everyone. It's like so obvious. It's very easy to explain. So it's not a response. It's a thin justification to make the medicine go down easier. To make a bad thing that Ethan's doing go down a little bit smoother. He is claiming to be a savior. That's not what's happening. Anyway, transitioning into the next bit of Ethan Klein news, Ethan Klein updates. We're going to read the filing at some point this week. I'm going to put the time in and actually sit down and we're going to read through the filings. But for now, we have Pisco versus Tomfoolery show. Huge things happening here. Talking about Hassan, detainment. Talking about the content nuke lawsuit. We know who's going to win this. It ain't even a challenge, okay? This is like you see a like Cyberman step to Goku, okay? The power levels are mismatched. Power levels totally mismatched. Tom is evil. He's like you know, he really is just like criminally. He's very criminal. He's very criminal. Not saying he's engaged in criminal activities, but he has, and he looks like, and he's got sort of like the character of a criminal. Thank you for the $5,
That reminds me. Guys, please go join our /Kuihman snark. Bonus points for not mentioning his slight frame or ambiguous gender preference.
Thank you for the $5, Jimberly. Hugely appreciated. Thank you. Anyway, yeah, he's just got that criminal character to him. He's got that criminal character to him. Whereas Pisco is like, yo, this guy is high-level paladin, okay? This is a high-level paladin, okay? Always doing the right thing. Except that one time, 18 months ago, where I was debating him about whether Erudite was allowed to call herself a psychometrician or not, and he misled me about the exact wording at the end of the letter, so that it made it seem as though it was a guaranteed argument versus a kind of argument. But we forgive that. We forgive and forget that Pisco rapped in a debate 18 months ago on JStalk stream about Erudite Present Sunday drama. We forgive and forget. Okay, guys, we can all move on here, can't we?
And to be cringe, I think that's like part of why it's kind of funny. You might think that that's like not the place to be funny. Totally understand that, like that position that's just kind of inappropriate.
Yeah, is this about the this got to be about the lawsuits already, right?
Going on in your mind, what's happening? What are your disagreements? I didn't see if you tweeted at me. I didn't see that, so just let us know what your thoughts are.
He's gonna know you, little bro.
Yeah, so I guess first off, I do think that like his the entire complaint from Ethan's lawyer was just a meme. I think that's what it was meant to be. You kept talking about how cringe it was. I agree. I think it was meant to be cringe. I think that's like part of why it's kind of funny. You might think that that's like not the place to be funny. Totally understand that, like that position that's just kind of inappropriate. But there were a bunch of other things that like where the facts were just getting confused by a lot of people, like a lot. So I posted like a like 5-minute video just kind of like showing the takes and what was happening. But one of them is that Denims, everybody keeps comparing how much Denims was reacting to the Hassan nuke versus XQC. Denims is not being sued for her reaction to the Hassan nuke. Her reaction to the stream before the Hassan nuke is what he went over in his video, where she's just sitting there. She gets up and goes to the bathroom. She is being sued.
She's being sued for both.
Yeah, I guess it would have to be both, because her statement about the like with her intent to replace him in the market, that is that I guess applies to the Hassan nuke and not the stream.
Well, let's just talk about facts here. Facts are she's being sued for her reaction to both. Correct?
I don't know. That's the part, is that my understanding was that it was about her reaction to the stream, but he was taking her comments that applied to the Hassan nuke and using this as intent to replace him in the market while reacting to the stream. So when he went over her video on his video about this, he's showing her reacting to the stream, not to the.
So one thing I'm going to do to figure this out is I'm just going to go to the prayer of relief. It says that first claim for relief against denims. These are the allegations. They incorporate by reference the entire complaint. It states that the entity that's in charge, TEI, is the entity here, is the sole owner.
Pisco is just going to
typos everywhere. It's the sole of the.
Tom does not stand a fucking chance here. Seriously, Tom does not stand a fucking chance.
So just to be clear, this complaint is dog shit because it wasn't fucking proofread, because it's formatted fucking shittily, because it's a meme, so it's dog shit. And that's just another example of it. They registered their copyright, that Denims accessed the countdown episode and the nuke, that they did not grant authorization or consent to exploit the content or the nuke, and that due to the Denims' acts of copyright infringement, they have suffered damages for her infringement in the countdown episode and the nuke. And so now that I've read that from the first claim of relief, from the prayer of relief, or sorry, before the prayer of relief, but for the cause of action, will you agree?
Someone's arguing this because he's retarded. He's not just retarded, he's a total fucking liar. It's like actually wretched how dishonest this guy is. He attempted to lie his way through an entire fucking YouTube career, got totally raped for it, and now just desperately attempts to get back on the foot soldier grind by grifting whatever position they're taking at the time.
Therefore, that you were wrong when you said, or when you supposed, that it wasn't about the nuke. She's also being sued for her reaction to the nuke, correct?
So
yes or no?
I don't know if it's for her No, I don't think that it's her reaction to the nuke, because as I said, I think that she has stated an intent to be a replacement within the market.
Hang on a second. Is H3 suing Denims for her copyright infringement of the nuke?
I think so, but I don't think it's for her reaction.
So were you wrong?
I think it's for market replacement.
Wait, no, but hang on a second. He is only suing Denims for copyright infringement, correct?
Yes, but that is these are different things. Like so when I said that you're comparing how much XQC is reacting to it versus how much she is reacting to it, that hers is a 4-hour VOD, XQC's is a 2-hour VOD. She does like no.
So you're misunderstanding. So there's a broader misunderstanding we'll get to in a second. But just to be clear about what he's suing her for, he's suing her for exactly one thing: copyright infringement, and that copyright infringement pertains to both the content.
I don't talk about that on the internet tech. This is hugely powerful tech that people just, for some reason, many streamers just don't know. Many streamers go their entire career without finding out the "I don't talk about that on the internet" tech. It's pretty crazy.
And the countdown episode, not just one or the other. And there's only one thing, and it's the same thing he's doing for both of those things: infringement. There's only one thing at issue, and the questions about market substitution, that has to do with fair use. But the underlying this is what I'll do. I'll stop my stream in a second.
Wait, they have instant issues.
And I'll tell actually, I think it's back up right now. Just we're back. Okay, cool. So where we just were. And the fact that it stopped the Discord, I think, indicates to me that the internet's cutting out because of the temperature. So I just want to bring us back to where we were, which is he is suing Denims for infringement and only infringement as pertains the copyright that he holds.
Sure, I'll put the wiggle up from that. You're right. You're right. I'll use the wiggle from that.
So you were incorrect.
They're both infringement. Yes.
Yeah. So you were incorrect when you were like, you're misconstruing that, because he's not suing her for the nuke. That was wrong.
Okay, so when it comes to market replacement, I agree that like these are.
Wait, so are you gonna say that was wrong? Dude, I hate people. Say that was wrong. Say that, Tom.
Both fair use, but my point is that they're not both about how much you're reacting. I think her like content nuke is going to be fair use. I think it is. Like watching it, going over it, like she doubles the amount of time, the amount of runtime in her reaction, and is like,
dude, you're crazy, dude. These people. This is the thing. Everyone has some retarded idea of how they think fair use works, and they think any fucking live stream reaction content is gonna fall under fair use. I'm sorry. It doesn't matter how much you're pausing and fucking yapping. I find it, personally, very unlikely that like 90% of live stream React content falls under fair use, or would succeed on a fair use defense. So if you're, you know, supporting it, going through, and you're like, well, it's fine, this lawsuit won't affect me because I do good React stuff. I put lots of extra time in. It doesn't matter. You're delusional if you think that matters significantly.
She is talking. Yes, she's pausing literally like every 30 seconds to a minute. I couldn't even find a spot where she went 3 minutes without pausing. So I think she's going to have like fair use for the content nuke. But I don't. Yeah, from everything that he said about it, and from what I read in the complaint, it looked like he was saying that it was that yes, it was not transformative in the way that she reviewed the interview, and then she had a statement of intent to replace him in the market in the content nuke, but even the entire argument that the lawyer made almost made it sound like they're making an argument for the content nuke purely based off the intent stated, which obviously isn't enough to actually be infringement, just intent by itself.
Yeah, so I guess I want to step back again and say, I just want to make sure we're agreeing that Denims is being sued for both the nuke and the interview, the countdown episode, correct? I thought
yes.
You said
yes.
now I'm understanding you to be saying like, well, there's a different kind of analysis as pertains both, and maybe they're using her stated intention as pertains the nuke to kind of help bolster the case of infringement or preempt the argument of fair use when it comes to the countdown episode, and that's why that's included. Is that what you're arguing?
Yes, yeah, that is my understanding from...
I don't know that I disagree with you. I don't know if I have strong opinions about what their intent is in including things. I certainly don't have a strong opinion on that, but it also has nothing to do with any of my stated opinions or why I'm getting pushback, because for the sake of all of what I'm saying, I'm conceding and agreeing that there's probably at least some infringement here. And I've said that over and over. Mm-hmm. So none about of why there's controversy into what I'm saying has to do with a question about whether or not it's infringement or not, because my agreement is, or so my opinion is that it probably isn't.
Pisco's comments are insane, man. If you go look at the comments on his video about the lawsuit, it is literally endless droves. It was similar on my comments as well, to be fair. But seriously, like Pisco, I can't believe we're doing it to Pisco. That's the thing, right? I understand. I'm just some retarded commentary YouTuber. Barely even a commentary YouTuber, to be honest. Drama and whatever YouTuber. General streamer, okay? I'm some fucking retard, okay? I'm a fucking whoever. So I get it. You don't take my position on a lawsuit or whatever very seriously. Sure. Pisco's a lawyer. Not only is Pisco a lawyer, Pisco's a lawyer that a lot of these people have been watching for years and heard all of his takes and heard that he's a pretty smart guy. And they just insist that he must be retarded, he must be insane, he must be delusional, without any reasons given. They just say, wow, L-Take, you're embarrassing yourself, you're an idiot. It's just crazy. It's absolutely crazy. How can you be so confident? How can you be so sure? You attack Lonerbox, you got some of his fans attacking you. Like, I think Lonerbox gets it, okay? Listen. I get paid. Listen, I don't hate Lonerbox, but if I see someone say something that sends me into a rage, I'm going to say they're a piece of shit. I'm going to say, fuck you, man. Okay. Not great for, not great for personal relationships. Let's be serious. But, okay for content.
Infringement. And so when you're saying, well, you know, I'm misconstruing certain arguments or I'm applying something, it doesn't matter because I've said that this is probably infringement. So it's not why people are mad at me, is because everyone can see me saying this is probably infringement. This is most likely infringement.
Yeah. So I have a couple of different points.
Mm-hmm.
Travis Lamb, oh my god. Please feel free, discord.gg/Kuihman. We'd love to talk to you. Yeah, that makes it worst. What lawyer can't understand Ethan's main gripe is intent to replace the video, even though he stated it's in the video? So, multiple things here. Number one, intent to replace actually has no bearing on a fair use defense. So any lawsuit that succeeds against these people would not be discriminated from other lawsuits in the legal system based upon the intent of the person posting the content. So, first of all, irrelevant legally. Second of all, do you think that someone's stated intention is always an accurate representation of their actual intention? Or do you think sometimes someone's actions might say more about their intentions than their words? Is that possible, Travis Lamb?
Other one is that Ethan cut XQC out of context. One of the things that was brought up a number of times by you and a bunch of other people.
Wait, when did I say that Ethan cut XQC out of context?
You didn't. I'm saying Ethan cut him out of context. So you were talking about the fact that XQC straight up says, I don't care about copyright or whether or not it's illegal, right? He just straight up said that I don't care whether or not it's illegal.
So I have an independent memory of him saying something to that effect multiple times. Now, I could be wrong about that, but I happen to think it's my.
No, he does.
Okay. So what is wrong about that?
He does say it, but there's extra context right after that I think totally changes it, and is my argument when it comes to
it's only exclusively the dumbest people that are actually claiming Ethan is doing this to genuinely protect his copyright. Everyone who is remotely honest and above 75 IQ is just conceding, yeah, obviously just fucking hates these people.
A lot of these things is that he's stating it's not stealing unless the owner says it's stealing. That like the cops aren't just going to come after you just because you didn't react hard enough or something. It's stealing when the person who owns the content, who owns the IP, says it's stealing.
It is the easiest tell for someone that's just fucking lying through their teeth. If someone is out there saying Ethan genuinely just wants to protect his copyright, or this is about React content, they are lying through their teeth. They know that's not the case. It doesn't make any sense to claim that. It does not make any sense whatsoever to claim that. The idea that a copyright lawsuit going after reactors would somehow make the situation better for everyone, better for reactors, better for streamers, better for video makers, is delusional. It's delusional.
Just the same as somebody goes into my shed and takes my lawnmower and puts it back afterwards. If I like that person and we're friendly, I don't really care. I'm not going to say anything. If it's somebody down the road that I don't like and they take my lawnmower, I'm calling the cops.
Not just that, but the legal arguments that he's using are totally antithetical to that. They argue stuff like about denims. They argue she's too uninformed to give transformative commentary. So her commentary, even when it's substantive and responding to the points, it still doesn't count as transformative according to their legal arguments because she's uninformed and wrong. Now, that is just trying to chill speech. You're allowed to be dumb about politics and still have a voice. You're allowed to be dumb about Israel and still talk about Israel. That's freedom of speech.
They both did the same exact thing. I decide when it's stealing.
As a statement of law, that's not correct, and also doesn't matter for any of my points. So I grant to you that he said that.
That's H3, true.
Number one, he's wrong about that, right? Like, whether or not someone cares to sue me or afterwards ratifies the what was done or the reaction doesn't bear on whether at the moment it's done, it is infringement or theft in the case of the example that you're trying to bring.
Dude, Edgar keeps posting this fucking copy pasta he took out of Tommy C's Discord everywhere. It literally, if you ever see someone say that there is a copy pasta going around that Edgar picked up, this was a message in Tommy C's Discord, and he just pastes it everywhere. It says, Kuihman is younger, better looking and more sure of himself. Chud intimidated and he's scared. It's pathetic, really. Bread tube. Appealing to gays and dork women, Kuihman is the more natural fit. Hassan Piker Jr., but English.
Right, like, if I go and steal a lawnmower from your place without permission, without any kind of implied relationship there, anything, right? I just go and steal a lawnmower and, or take it and bring it back and use it as though it were my own. Whatever the problem is there, it could be conversion or some other tort. I don't know if you're not maybe trying to permanently deprive you. So whatever the tort is there occurred regardless of the fact that afterwards you ratified that action. At the time that you're depriving me of possession, or in this case infringing, the infringement occurs. Now, carve out if there's an implied relationship or some kind of license, an implied license, or even an explicit license.
Charge logic, man. Charged Logic had mod Stylo King. Highly malicious. Dude.
That's not what we're talking about. So, just number one, overall, XQC is wrong about that. And number two, that doesn't contradict anything I've said or anything anyone's talking about.
Okay, well, I do think so. You used that argument a couple of times to say that like a XQC was a greater like a threat to IP, and then that takes me to the last one, which is that he is also a greater threat to people like Sony and Disney stepping in.
Yeah. So let's talk about that real quick. What I said is XQC in the terms of malicious from a legal perspective. I understand that Ethan may be using the term malicious to mean intentional siphoning of his specific work.
We covered Taylor Lorenz stuff. Rewind for the Taylor Lorenz coverage if you wanna see that.
The legal term of art. So, and I've recognized that in my video, and I've recognized this entire time. So there's zero equivocation on my part with the use of that term. I'm conscious of the different that words can be used in different ways, and I'm conscious of a threat of equivocation. I'm not equivocating. So, my point is that XQC legally is malicious in the sense that he has reckless disregard for whether or not he's siphoning this.
Are you gonna gloat about being right about Stop Killing Games? Dude, I did see that video earlier. I did think about it. I did just sort of look at it and go, yep. Maybe I should. Maybe tomorrow we'll do a Stop Killing Games segment. Maybe Parry can have a call in tomorrow. Parry can have a call in tomorrow, and we can talk about how fucking right I was about Stop Killing Games. Dude, people are so stupid. People are so dumb. You know, and it's so crazy. I feel like I said this at one point. You know what's actually causing change in the games industries right now? Is lawsuits. It's not your gay fucking EU initiative. It's lawsuits against companies for doing things that violate consumer protections. Or that are seen as violating consumer protections. That's being clamped down on now. Stuff's starting to change. I don't know if you guys follow the Bellula stuff, but I watch all of Bellula's videos about this about the new monetization lawsuits that are going through the EU right now. And that actually seems to be making some progress. There's like decisions being made. It's like, great, cool. I'm all for that. You know what's a terrible campaign? I want to be able to play games forever. Why can't play The Crew 2 forever? That's a dogshit campaign.
This revenue or whatever, right? He doesn't care about the law, but that's not to put him on all fours with Denims and these other people in every respect. I recognize that Denims and these other people probably have a greater, commonplace definition of the term malice. That is to say, they literally want to steal money from Ethan in that respect. And maybe the XQC doesn't have that. I do not dispute that at all. What I'm saying is, he says in his video that he doesn't want to chill XQC, even though XQC is an infringer. Maybe it's a less form of infringement in his opinion because it doesn't include that intentional taking away from his revenue or whatever. But he says he wants to protect the XQCs of the world, these infringers who don't give a fuck if they're siphoning revenue or not. And that, I think, is not consistent with the conduct here or the actual motivations of what's going on. And especially when he says, I want to prevent Sony and Disney from setting a bad precedent and destroying the reaction community as we know it. They're much more likely to do that, all else equal, towards the bigger reactor. They don't give a fuck about whether you have good intent or bad intent. What they care about is the sort of market substitution effect.
The scale of damage, whether it's a market substitute, that's obviously what they will focus on.
And how
they don't care whether they say, don't go watch the original. Neither does the legal system. Only Ethan cares about that. And even then, I don't think Ethan cares about that. That's like a paper-thin facade to justify these targets. Denims, I don't even know how many of them made explicit statements of don't watch the original. Didn't Denims just say something like, if you enjoyed not giving that video a view, support the stream? Or some shit like that. No, my understanding is this has only to damages does the intent have relevance. To damages, the intent could have relevance. To a fair use defense, to the copyright infringement, the intent has no relevance, as far as I'm aware. As long as it's willful copyright infringement, which it obviously is, there's not really an argument that you didn't know you were somehow infringing on someone's copyright. It's like really, it's It's like very hard to make that argument. There's no like malice standard. There's no like anything. That none of that has any relevance on the fair use.
It's affecting their bottom line, which is going to be largely influenced by the size of the infringer, not their mal motive.
So, okay, so I'll come back to the Sony part then, because I disagree with the part about XQC. I do think that it's maybe just a semantic issue here, but I would say that yes, it's not stealing until the person decides that it's stealing, and that there is a culture online where people, especially smaller creators, would want somebody like
It's not just a culture online. Ethan has built up. Ethan has gone back and forth with Denims and Frogan, reacted to their stuff, responded to them, spoken about them. They've responded back. That pattern's gone on for a year and a half. And then all of a sudden, Ethan's like, no, you're stealing from me, actually. You're stealing from me, actually.
XQC to watch their video on his streams, even if he doesn't give them credit, even if he doesn't tag them in it or link them in it, that people are more likely to go look for them, find them, and then subscribe to their channel if they like it. And so there is a culture that is that almost that implied consent. And he's saying if they don't like it, they can go through YouTube and just say, I don't like this. It'll get taken down. That's that. And then we move on. But they decide when it is an infringement, and that 99% of the people don't ever decide that it's an infringement. Therefore, this is the culture of this implied consent already.
I don't really care about that. He's wrong about that, right? So he's wrong. Like it isn't the fact that there's ever been the case that individuals have to like preemptively give XQC notice that it's not okay for infringement to not occur. So we don't have to take on his weird and distorted view of infringement. I'll give you tons of examples. Example one, where the person has no way of knowing whether XQC is infringing on the content, and it takes months and months for them to even be aware that XQC is infringing. You know, someone who doesn't want this to happen, it doesn't even want to happen the first time, right? And so I just don't accept XQC's framework, and I also don't think it's relevant to what we're talking about here. The question is, what is Ethan's motivation? What is actually motivating Ethan? That's the essence of my critique is the following. Why is Ethan choosing to go after some people and not others? And what I take to be the disingenuous part is he is not going after Denims and all to protect the React community. That is not what's happening. And if you don't agree, if you agree with that, then we have no disagreement that I can see.
Okay, so the reason that I was trying to get the XQC part out of the way is because I agree he's not doing that.
Okay.
I also don't think he ever said he was doing that. I don't think that ever happened.
Right. So just to be clear, we agree he's not doing that. So now the question is, did he put himself out as doing that? And the answer unequivocally to that is yes, he did. Example number one. In his video,
Pisco.
how he starts it,
spit your shit.
He talks generally about the problem of blatant infringement outside the context of intentional siphoning, and this is in the context of this YouTuber that
guys. I'm like a horrendous racist. I just think of like something that's like really racist but really funny to me, and it's just like why? Like I don't even like. There's definitely a really funny nickname you could come up with for like this is just horrendous. Really, this is terrible. Really, but there is absolutely a very funny racist nickname you could come up with that's similar to Pisco, but uses a Hispanic slur. I don't know why it popped into my head, but it's just like, I'm like, if you were going to be talking crazy shit.
I forget his name, where he gives that little neat graphic where someone reacts like a lot versus when they don't, and what's the problem, what's not the problem. He calls that situation
No, I did not say that, Joe.
He calls XQC a prime suspect. And then he, about 3 or 4 minutes later, says, I want to get together and get some people behind me to promote a healthy environment. Otherwise, it could destroy the content community, reaction community as we know it. He then says,
we will not be using that name. That name will not be in chat. That is a slur, and we will not be using that. I was just saying, I was saying it to point out how horrendously racist I am.
This is done in part to prevent.
Wait, 1 minute. What's this? Is this Parry thinking he's thinking he's hot shit. How long ago is this from? 2 days ago.
Does Queen believe that might makes right? That's a tough one. It is a tough one. I mean, with Stop Killing Games, I think he did. So actually, to be honest with you, I think Doug Bringer has a good point here, right? Because I remember, guys, when I was arguing with Stop Killing Games with Kuihman, and he was like, what did he say? He was like, well, if it succeeded, it would be good, but it's not succeeding, so it's bad.
We can understand that people are...
Hello? So this is 2 days ago. He was talking shit. And then today...
Hello?
At the end of Stop Killing Games... Parry... Totally right. This guy is like so raped. It's not even funny.
Disney from setting bad precedent, and specifically that he does not want to chill XQC. And so all this taken in totality indisputably suggests that he is painting at least one of his significant motivations as protecting the commentary community, protecting the React community. Otherwise, why would he bring up Sony and Disney and the notion of setting bad precedent? Why would he talk about the risks to the commentary community as we know it if he weren't trying to appeal to the possibility of an existential threat to that community? Explain that.
So I think these are separate statements. I think in one statement, he is saying he personally does not want the outcome of his lawsuit to chill the React community.
Cap.
He is somebody who reacts to videos as well. He wouldn't want to hurt himself in this way either. But also as a separate statement, because these statements are separated, then he also says that he has a fear that Sony and
it's a good thing Pisco is able to keep his cool, especially in this heat, else you would be calling him something worse if he started sweating a lot.
Thank you for the $5, Tedros. Thank you.
Disney could eventually come after people if this is like a slippery slope to where people are just kind of recklessly and maliciously replacing things in the market.
Wait a second. So I want to just, this is the quote. Though theoretically I could sue a lot more creators and rake in millions of dollars. So just be clear. That is him suggesting that other creators.
Let's take it easy, yeah? Let's take it easy.
Are infringing, right? Not that they're doing fair use, because he couldn't rake in millions if they weren't infringing, right? So we're only talking about infringement here, okay? So he says the following: though theoretically I could sue a lot more creators and rake in millions of dollars.
Who opened this door? I've said you will be moderated for doing it. You'll be moderated for doing it. I said that only to say how racist and ADHD I am, okay?
But the purpose of this is not financial gain. People like XQC and Asmongold may have watched the entire thing, but I would never sue them just for doing that. I don't want to chill the reaction community into fear, actually. The opposite. I hope that we can all unite against this type of egregious behavior that not only makes us all look bad, but could destroy the commentary community as we know it.
So this is just a total lie. Such a fucking lie, man.
Savior rationale. It's saying everyone, including, we need to bandy together to protect the XQCs of the world and the Asmongolds of the world. Otherwise, we'll all look bad.
We need to protect the Asmongolds and the XQCs from the lawsuits that might come from Denims, who does more transformative reaction than XQC and Asmongold. Guys, this is very important, okay? I understand that Denim's reaction to the content uke was actually far more transformative than either of those two. However, we have to protect XQC and Asmongold from lazy reactors like Denim's. Seriously, it's incoherent. It's totally incoherent.
And it could destroy the commentary community as we know it. That's a broader narrative, that this type of egregious behavior, if we don't band together, right? If we don't all band together to unite, it could destroy our community. Isn't that, and I'll just very simple, isn't that a savior rationale that speaks to him trying to achieve broader protection of the community?
I guess in a sense, I think he's just asking for like some consistent rationale between everybody.
The cope. Oh my god, the fucking cope.
To where they're all going to agree. This is bad. This is good. I'm on y'all's side. I don't want to chill all reaction content, but
that dude, this is so retarded. The law does not make a distinction between Asmongold and Denims on the basis of saying, well, hope you guys enjoyed not giving that a view. It does not make a distinction on that basis. The law does not care. Ethan is doing things that fuck with the precedent and is claiming that he's doing it to benefit these people when it can only hurt. It's so dumb. Just the most blatantly incoherent logic. No one can argue it, but people are so sure of it.
There is a type of reaction content that we should all agree crosses the line. And I think he's more so arguing in favor of himself. So because currently there are tons of people in the reaction community. Hold on, let me finish this. Because people in the reaction community are currently going after him, saying that he is chilling the reaction community and he's ruining it. And I think he's trying to like prevent that ahead of time and try to make sure that they don't come after him.
Yes, he was trying to come up with a line of logic that would mean people wouldn't criticize the lawsuit. Yes, he was trying to avoid being criticized for the lawsuit, even though there are obvious, clear lines of logic that explain exactly how this would cause problems for other people reacting to content, not just the 3 people he's suing.
For him and think that he's trying to stop all of this.
Okay, so let's take it step by step. Does Ethan agree that there's an existential risk to the commentary community?
I with the Sony and like Disney thing, no, I think that he thinks there's a slippery slope where this can get out of hand.
Well, no, but he says that this type of behavior, that is to say, the denim style behavior, that this type of behavior could destroy the commentary community as we know it. So I'm asking you very directly, based on that statement, is Ethan describing a type of existential risk to the commentary community?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he is partly painting his lawsuit in terms of protecting against an existential risk against the commentary community, correct?
His lawsuit, sure. I think it's more so their behavior is the existential threat.
Right. And so he's trying to...
Their behavior is the existential threat.
Right. Yeah. So their behavior... Exactly. Their behavior is the type of egregious behavior that, quote, not only makes us all look bad, but could destroy the commentary community. And so he, and I just want to get a very clear yes or no, he is saying that his lawsuit is done, at least in part, to prevent this kind of egregious behavior that, quote, could destroy the commentary community as we know it, correct?
No, I don't know where you're getting that part from. Like, again,
how not?
It is because I think he's just asking, again, I think he's just asking for everybody to be consistent on this and not blame him as though he is chilling the commentary community. But he's saying, for me and for other people who have this violation against them, they would want to act on this and sue people who violate their content in this way.
And that's why he wants us all to
unite. Exactly, Shamu. It feels like there's a bunch of, basically it's like the further right you go, the more willing they are to admit like what's actually going on here, right? They'll like support Ethan, but it's like people, like center-left people are like lying through their teeth about why it's happening. Center-right people, it's sort of like half and half, and then the further right you go, it's like they're like, no, obviously he's just fucking these people up. Obviously he's fucking, but I fucking hate him too. But I fucking hate him too. So fuck all these people. I hope they kill each other. You know. It's just like, okay. I mean, at least you're like not lying to me. At least, and you don't believe in free speech anyway. So listen, honestly, man, do your thing. It's the people in the middle I've got a problem with. It's the people that are supposed to be like me, that are supposed to stand up for this shit.
Right? He's saying unite. He's saying unite. We should all be on the same page here, because when we go after these people, it's going to prevent the destruction of the commentary community, right? That's why he's saying we can all unite against this type of egregious behavior. He wouldn't be saying that if it were just limited to himself and trying to reassure people. He's not just trying to... Wait, Tom, you agree with this? He's not just trying to, as you're trying to paint it, reassure people that his specific lawsuit isn't going to chill the community. He's actually doing something broader and saying there's a bigger risk here, and we all need to unite against this type of behavior to prevent the destruction of the community. Not just my lawsuit, right? It's his lawsuit is part of a culture that he's trying to promote against this type of egregious behavior for the purpose of preventing the destruction of the commentary community as we know it. Agreed?
Yes,
Okay.
that is what I'm saying. Yes,
Well,
that is what I'm saying. I'm saying
that's what
that
I'm
is very
saying.
different
That's
than
the
he
savior
is the
rationale.
savior,
No.
but more so that there is a consistent line that we should all agree on. That's totally different than I'm here to save you, but instead we all agree on this, right? This is a line they did cross it,
He
right?
is trying to portray his lawsuit as protecting the commentary community, isn't he?
No, I think it's
No?
him saying that all people should agree that they would sue
No.
over something like this, and that like this isn't something that
That's
is
not what he's
supposed to go
saying.
after
Wait,
a
if-
broad array
Pis-
of people. It is
Pisco, read the quote again. Pisco, read the quote for him again. Pisco, he's clearly can't retain it. Clearly can't keep it in his head. Read the quote for him again, Pisco.
going after specific people who do this specifically, not all commentary people.
Yeah, Tom is
I know-
a completely disingenuous fucking loser. He is literally just it is like a fully conclusion work backwards. It's so blatant.
Understand the target here, right? That he's trying to portray is a more narrow target. I'm not disputing you that his target is, as he portrays it, is more narrow. All I'm saying, Tom, is he is portraying his lawsuit as a reaction, a justified reaction that's justified in part by protecting the commentary community. That is to say, people in general need to unite.
Wait, dude. Vadim has named himself the Dreamwalker on Twitter. Dude. Okay, Parry won. Okay, Parry won. No, that Dreamwalker was Parry's name, but listen. I mean, it's probably because of... But Parry made it up, okay? So I will give credit on that one. Dude. That's hilarious. That's awesome.
Against this style of behavior, this type of egregious behavior, for the purpose of making us not all look bad and making it so that the commentary community is not destroyed. So he's trying to say that this lawsuit is the opposite of trying to chill. This is what he says, right? I'm not trying to chill the reaction community into fear. The opposite. I'm trying to do the opposite. What's the opposite of trying to chill the reaction community? It's to promote the reaction community, right? Correct? So
Yeah,
he's
This is Linguist Tom. See the gears turning in the Linguist brain there. See that? He's doing some language analysis there. Opposite of chill. Promote. Is that
What's the opposite of trying to chill the reaction community? It's to promote the reaction community, right?
picking at his beard? Dude, I hate this. The picking at the facial hair stuff. Not good. Not good.
Correct?
If I start getting like little hairs coming through, I start doing that. And so I'm always always clean shaven. Fuck that shit.
So
yeah, he's saying he's part of that community, yeah.
He's saying, I'm not trying to chill them. I'm trying to do the opposite, which is another way of protecting the community. He's trying to portray his lawsuit as not just vindicating his own
hairs
rights,
that grow on your
but as
face.
protecting the commentary community. Agreed?
I guess
Okay,
again, I
generally.
don't.
That's just
I
how is
wouldn't
this
say
hard?
it that way. I think that is an odd way to say it because again, it's like me. Okay, I do React content. Okay, I do a lot of like.
Who
about,
did?
I would
Wait,
say
who
maybe
was
half of
the?
my
Who
content.
did the digging for gold clip recently? Oh, it was the trough, wasn't it? It was when we were watching the trough the other day, and he fucking just like dived into his nose mid sentence. That was awesome. That went hard.
It's React content, and I am also going to sue people who are just stealing my content, just re-uploading it, putting about 3 minutes of commentary in there with an hour and a half of my fucking content just re-uploaded, right? And I would say make the same arguments, just saying like, yeah, this is something that like hurts all of us when people go past this line and start this process where we're having to like sue each other
right?
to,
And if you
to take
sue
this
Tom,
down.
if you sue Tom and you said this is about preventing the existential threat to our community, and you would defend yourself, you say, I'm not trying to harm the commentary community, the opposite. I'm trying to protect us because this makes us all look bad. And so when I sue these people, it's to vindicate my rights, but it's also to protect the community. That's what he's suing here. And that's why, by the way, he starts with this broader concern from creators and saying this is about you know, this is an injustice every time it happens, with reference to that content creator, whoever he was. What he's trying to do is he's trying to make the argument that his lawsuit is doing the opposite of chilling, that it's actually protecting. It's protecting the commentary community. And that is why he says we all need to unite. He's trying to portray, and I think if you dispute this, I don't know if you, what the problem, I think you're doubling down.
I agree. Okay, again, I can agree that in a sense it is protecting in the fact that it is drawing the line that he thinks should be there. I don't think that makes him the hero, but more so that a line being there is what protects us. That line is the thing that we should all agree on, because it will protect us from disappearing.
And what I'm doing right now is helping promote that line. That's what he's saying. Yes. So that's what I take to be the savior rationale. That this lawsuit is about protecting the commentary community by enforcing the standard on the...
I mean, Pisco talks to a lot of grifters, right? He goes on fucking Tim Pool. I think he just, you know, whether in a debate it's not very helpful just start saying someone's grifting, right? Pisco might be able to tell that Tom's being dishonest, but it doesn't matter because he has to take apart the arguments all the same, right?
Commentary community. Agreed?
Okay, yeah, if you put it that way, sure. I think it's a semantic difference of the way that you put it.
I don't think it's semantic difference. I think it's a meaningful difference. Like,
well, because initially your statement was that he's protecting everybody from Disney, and that that is a very different way of saying it. Whereas this is he's drawing a line that will stop a slippery slope from them eventually coming down on us.
No, none of it's so. That's what I take to be the savior rationale. That is that this lawsuit is justified in part by protecting the React community. By someone, and that's the question that, right? It says destroy the commentary community, right? From who? Who's going to destroy the commentary community, right? Like, wait, what do you mean? Where is this existential threat coming from? And I'll ask you, when he says this could destroy the commentary community, why? Why would it destroy the commentary community to allow this egregious behavior? Why would it destroy it? And I'll ask you, Tom, why would it allow it? Why would allowing this egregious behavior bring about the destruction of the commentary community? Go.
Because I think that for YouTube, if over and over we start to have more and more lawsuits because commentary community is stealing content, eventually they're just gonna be like, no more fucking reviewing other people's shit on streams anymore.
That's why he has to bring up Sony and Disney, because he has to explain that there's an existential threat, and that existential threat isn't coming from him. It's not coming from insiders. It's coming from outsiders. And who are the outsiders? Sony, Disney. So this rationale is consistent throughout, right? There's an existential threat. It's coming from outside. I'm here to protect you guys from that, because by me enforcing the standard, it's going to prevent the destruction of the community. Why? Because the outsiders are going to be less inclined to come and sue people and set bad precedent. That's what he's saying, and that's why he brings up Sony and Disney, because it's part of his narrative that this lawsuit is meant to actually protect the community from the outsiders, from Sony and Disney. And I'm thoughtful about that. And so don't say that what I'm doing here is trying to chill people. It's the opposite. I'm trying to promote the community by protecting it against the outsiders. That's the narrative that I take to be the savior narrative, and that's what I think is bullshit.
Obvious bullshit.
I think that
obvious bullshit.
I say the same exact thing, and but the narrative is more so that if we all held this line, we will be better off in the long run. We all agree together. This line exists.
If anything, this lawsuit may cause companies focus more on YouTube. Yes, if it is shown that you can get money out of doing this, then more people will start doing it, companies or otherwise. And that the malice part that Ethan uses as the distinguishing factor does not fucking matter in the law. It does not matter to fair use whether it was malice or not. So the whole thing just makes it worse for everyone. It's like so obvious, it's very easy to explain. No one can argue against it. All they can do is go, "You're retarded, why are you defending denims? They called CPS on him." That's all they can do. That's all any of them have.
Culturally promote that line, call people out for it, or even take down videos that are doing these sorts of things, then we're able to kind of save ourselves.
But the thing is, it's bullshit. It's a bullshit thing to say, and it's not what's actually motivating him. And there's a lot of indication of that. So you agree, by the way, he did say it. He is saying that he's trying to protect the content community from Sony and Disney, right? And entities like that. Yes or no?
I don't think he is trying to protect the community, no, but I think that he's saying if we all draw this line, that protects the community.
He's trying to sell him
a couple of times that like
he's trying to sell his lawsuit as in part being justified by protecting the commentary community from Sony Disney.
He is part of one of the people who
Yes.
would draw this line, so he is also in part protecting, as everybody
Correct.
who would protect this line would be protecting.
But you said
the
he didn't
community.
say that. If you scroll back 10 minutes ago, you said he never said that. Of course, he's not doing that. He never said it. But now you're saying he did say it.
No. Just a minute ago, we agreed that he is talking about the line that he is protecting, and that we all protect this line, we would be protecting the community at large.
No, you're right. I agree that the lawsuit is not likely to get big companies to start doing stuff. Unless there's some really strong precedent set that means they can instantly start hitting people for a lot of money, it's unlikely that big companies will be the ones that take advantage of this. It's more likely this is going to cause, like, internal problems, right? It's going to be DSP suing a bunch of people that go after him. It's going to be, Keffel's coming back with a fucking lawsuit or something. Like, these are the types of people that are going to start taking advantage of movement in this way. It's not going to be like, oh, Ethan set a really strong standard here, so now all the good guys win and all the bad guys lose. Like all these fucking retards want to pretend it's going to be. No, it's going to make stuff more difficult to react to. When there's good criticisms or good reasons to go after someone, it's going to be more difficult to go after them because they could just turn around and fucking sue you. Like, it's going to cause nothing but problems. It's, like, so dumb.
Whereas very different than he himself is protecting the community. Like, that's a little bit different.
Well, if he's part of the movement, if he's spearheading, if he's being a leader here, right, which he thinks himself as. By the way, his complaint starts with, Ethan Klein is this wonderful guy who set this amazing precedent in the SDNY. So he very much has a savior complex, and it's throughout the complaint. If you read at all between the lines, he's portraying himself as the defender of fair use, the standard bearer. And so I completely disagree that he thinks he's just part of the cog of the machine. He views himself as a leader.
Also, guys, great time to remind you, 460 people watching right now, 111 likes on stream. Some is 350 people. When please moving the cursor, thumbs up and clicking it. Or pressing a thumbs up on the mobile device, that'd be huge appreciated. Now, if you want to take your support one step further, you can donate directly through a stream elements link in the pinned chat message. Also, buy a membership to the channel, gift a membership to the channel, gift a whole bunch of memberships surrounding without the chat. Buy a super chat, which will highlight a message and read it on TTS, or buy a super sticker, which is a YouTube image or gift that will be highlighted in chat, and I'll subscribe it to you. You can go to discord.gg/Kuihman, twitter.com/Kuihman, reddit.com/r/Kuihman. Also, guys, huge push right now for active community engagement. Run a Reddit account, run a Twitter account, run a Discord account. All very important. Always be clipping. ABC, there's an ABC's guide in the subreddit. And post like hell. I know you'll post peacefully. Thank you. Before this, you were lazy reacting and stealing content maliciously. This new precedent should scare that person low. Schween, you obviously have not been here for more than a minute. So I'm going to explain this to you very as simply as I can. The malice standard has no relevance. It's totally meaningless. It is only something, first of all, it's a thin justification, because Denims did not say, don't go and watch it. Denims said, after her react, if you enjoyed watching this terrible video here and not giving it a view, support me. That's what she said. She didn't say, don't go and watch that. Don't go and see it on Ethan's channel. So, first of all, the malice standard is thin at first, anyway. Secondly, it has zero relevance to fair use.
My guy.
There is not a single part. Thank you for the $20. Huge appreciate, Mr. Jones. There is not a single part of fair use that relies on the intention of the infringer being malicious or not. No, it doesn't matter. No. It's not about whether you're using malice colloquially or not. It has no relevance to the law. So any precedent, any outcome from the lawsuit will not be discriminatory according to malice. Okay, so do you understand? So whatever the outcome is of the lawsuit, it will apply to everyone, malicious or not. So when I make an argument about the effect of the lawsuit and how it's going to affect the space, to respond with, oh, well, if you were being malicious before, you should be scared now, is irrelevant. That's not a response. because it does not have any relevance to the outcome. It is not discriminated according to malice. So it's not a response. It's a thin justification to make the medicine go down easier. To make a bad thing that Ethan's doing go down a little bit smoother.
But even if you, like, this is a distinction without a difference. He's saying that his lawsuit is about enforcing that line. And whether it's his specific lawsuit that's going to save everyone, or he's going to be part of a movement that saves everyone, to me is a distinction without a difference. Either way, he's trying to sell his lawsuit as protecting, either by starting a trend or by being the thing itself of preventing the destruction of the commentary community because of the outsiders of Disney and Sony, places like that, from suing.
Okay, again, Gazbaz, this is not a relevant response. What did they transform it when their own commentary was so lackluster, leaving the video running, etc.? So, first of all, almost all reaction content that uses the full original video is likely to fail fair use. Whether you are being high effort in your response or not, it's likely to fail fair use. You're likely to be liable for copyright infringement. Very likely. Okay? So, initially, it's kind of irrelevant whether this is a actual case of fair use, like legal case of fair use, because none of what we're doing is. Everyone is committing crimes. J-Stalk actually had a good analogy for this. Everyone's committing crimes. This is like you're in a street racing scene, and everyone's street racing, everyone's breaking the law. And then all of a sudden, someone turns around and says something like, "Oh, I'm gonna press charges against this guy because we need to hold this firm line. We need to hold this. This guy's taking it too far, and I'm gonna press charge against this guy. Because we need to hold a firm line here." It's like, no, you're bringing nothing but police attention. Everyone else is gonna start doing the same shit to them, to each other, right? You've been engaging in it. Everyone around you has been engaging with it, and now all of a sudden, you want to take a stand on this because you hate the person. And you're claiming it's going to benefit us? It's not going to benefit us. No, it doesn't. So we're complaining Ethan's snitching. No, it's not complaining that someone's snitching. It's about the fact that he is claiming he is making things better for a situation when it's obviously making it worse. Right? He is claiming to be a savior. That's not what's happening. You hearing? Just want to make sure. Yeah, also it's the other thing. Ethan claims the nuke was a trap to sue for copyright infringement, implying he would have sued regardless of the malicious statements. Those statements hadn't happened when he registered the copyright on that. I've never taken a public speaking class, okay? Yeah, in Temple. Yeah, street racing, but not even going after the worst offender, just claiming to. Just someone that was a fucking asshole to you in the race at one point. That's basically it. Thank you for the 50 Swedish krona, Jenny. Huge appreciate. Thank you. The lemon and lime character. The lemon's holding up the lime character like a baby. Huge appreciate. Thank you. Why are you sweeping for sand? Okay, man. Okay, man. Sorry, I thought I was saying I was responding to. So yeah, when their commentary is so lackluster, leaving the video running. So Denim's commentary was not lackluster. It was for the countdown stream, but for the nuke, which she's being sued for both, for the nuke, Denim's reaction was longer than Asmongold's or XQC's, and she actually engaged with the political points in there. Right? Denim's actually has, even if you think she's a dumb bitch, she has an investment and opinion on politics. She clearly likes talking about politics. And she did talk about politics in that. She liked responding to the points in the video. Unlike Asmongold or XQC, which is like, whoa, dude, that's crazy. Whoa, dude, that's crazy. So, the argument about the commentary being lackluster doesn't really stand up, does it, for these people? Not for Denims, at least. I believe Frogan was actually pretty good with the response, too. Though she may have walked out of the room at some point, or something. It was some shit like that. I don't know, man.
Doing.
But I believe she was still better than XQC and Asmongold. And I think she was even doing, like, retarded challenges while the video was going on or something. So it's like, yeah.
Is a rationale where it seemed you were implying it wasn't a rationale and that he didn't ever even suggest it or say it.
Again, I do think that his entire, like, even like taking a lot of stuff from his complaint, like I even have trouble with it just because it's just so fucking flamboyant and memeish that like it
Okay,
seems
let's
like
stick to the
he's
issue,
purposely
Tom.
doing that just
Sorry,
to piss people off.
I'm gonna get a little. I'm gonna get a little mean. I'm gonna get a little mean, Tom.
Pisco, my guy, Pisco. I was not familiar with your game. Let's go. End this guy here. Cut this man down, Pisco.
Because it's just so fucking flamboyant and memeish that like it
Okay,
seems
let's
like
stick to
he's
the issue,
purposely
Tom.
doing that just
Sorry,
to piss people off.
I'm gonna get a little. I'm gonna get a little mean. I'm gonna get a little mean, Tom. I'm not talking about the
video that he's stating. But the video that he's stating, that is like the line that we were talking about, is the statement from the video, is that is what we were talking about, is like that in that statement, yes, he is talking about a line.
Wait, no, but that line is justified by protecting the reaction community. He's saying, I need to do this. I need to sue these people, or one of the reasons why I'm suing these people is to protect the community, or whether it's because of the line or the standard, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, he's enforcing some standard that is meant to protect the commentary community. That very clearly is one of the rationales. Agree?
Sure.
Dude, this is the best sign that someone is just engaging in the most disgustingly dishonest way, when the most obvious concessions are like pulling teeth. It's just so painful.
The commentary community. That very clearly is one of the rationales. Agree?
Sure.
Okay, yes. Awesome. That's my point. That's one of my points. And you already agreed that he's not doing that. And so at this point, I mean, like, you agree with me on that. We agree. We agree that the complaint is dog shit. And you agree that one of his rationales was to defend their commentary community, and that's bullshit. And so what do we disagree about?
Well, I don't know. You just said it's bullshit again. I would say that my lawsuit would also do the same thing, is like setting the standard that like people are going too far, and that by suing, I am also taking part in setting the standards to where like things don't go too far and don't go down the slippery slope to where it is the same exact thing.
So do you actually
that you're claiming he's saying? But
do you actually believe that?
But I would say that yes, that is a very real thing. Yes, that is a very real thing.
So you actually now believe that one of them is motivating Ethan is to protect against Disney and Sony's of the world by enforcing a standard. Do you think that's one of his rationales?
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay. I thought you said
like,
that you didn't believe that.
His rationale. No, sorry. No. His rationale. No. Is that what he's arguing? That yes. But is that his rationale? No. He's finding a rationale that lets him go after the people that he wants to go after.
Boom.
Well, almost definitely.
Oh, finally. Wow, we got there. Wow, 40 minutes in. Guys, it took Pisco, what? 34 minutes. 34 minutes to get Tom to admit this.
Boom. That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is this is not what's actually motivating him. What's motivating him is going after the people he wants to go after, not this feeling that he needs to protect the commentary community. But even though he says that, right? He says he's trying to protect the commentary community, but what's really motivating him, and it's fine. You go after people you don't like in lawsuits who are infringing your shit, but don't sell me this bullshit that what you're doing is defending the commentary community, because that's clearly what you're not doing, and that's not what's motivating you.
Sure, but I also think that like anything that's past that line is where we would all agree. Whereas like it is common that you can find people who are reacting, but they're not doing it maliciously. They're not trying to like steal your stuff. They're not trying to replace you in the market. They're not trying to just like sit there and have a watch party. That like if they are trying, most of us would like call somebody out for suing people unnecessarily and kind of that would chill the commentary community. We would call that sort of behavior out. So I think
this is Tom, what I take to be the essence here, right? Because the problem is
people what
XQC is doing is wrong, and Ethan's been on record saying it's wrong.
Okay, I shouldn't say we. I shouldn't say we. Commentary community would. The commentary community would. I wouldn't. I think that yes, you review somebody's stuff, you are always at risk. Always, always. You are always at risk.
And XQC and Ethan has been vociferous in criticizing not just the people where their stated intent is to siphon money. He's been saying that what XQC does is unjustifiable. And XQC has these arguments, these bizarre arguments about how it helps them, actually, the infringer. And like you said at the start, right, that what he's doing really is trying to promote their...
I would say the way XQC uses that argument is totally retarded. I would say for stuff like Lemino, there's not really a benefit to fucking XQC stealing Lemino's video the day it comes out and watching how JFK got assassinated in total silence. Obviously. You know, that's not... XQC is not doing anyone a fucking favor there, okay? But there are limited cases where that does benefit people. So, for instance, smaller creators obviously being featured on a larger platform, that can instantly change their, you know, viewership. They could have, like, be getting, you know, like 1K views every here and there. Then maybe they get, like, a 10K view video, and then that gets posted on the Asmongold subreddit. And then Asmongold watches their video about, like, the latest WoW update or their thoughts on, like, how WoW's gone over the last few years. And then all of a sudden, they've got a huge boost, and they make a career off of it. Or streamers just reacting backwards and forwards oftentimes keeps viewers circulating in a specific ecosystem. And that actually does benefit everyone involved. There's, like, stuff like that. Well, there are limited cases, obviously, specific cases. It's not when there's a prepared piece of content that drops and you just fucking blast it. You know, obviously the way XQC does stuff, or watching fucking MasterChef, like, obviously this sort of stuff is not that case. However, there are cases where actually infringing on someone's copyright does benefit them. And that is just true.
Stream, or that it, you know, it should be the default is you have to do a takedown before it's infringement or whatever. And so Ethan needs to invent this rationale, because he's oftentimes been, I think, rightly attacking people like XQC for doing the non-malicious infringement, right? For doing the kind of infringement where he's actually trying to justify and say, I'm not being malicious in the sense of siphoning things intentionally. And so he needs to twist himself into knots in...
Yeah, I don't even know if... Did MasterChef even strike anything? I feel like MasterChef might have even seen it as a benefit, because it's like old seasons that aren't currently airing, that they don't make a lot of royalties on anyway, that then were getting replayed, and then when the new season came out, it had increased viewership. I feel like maybe that was happening. But I mean, stuff like anime companies cared. I'm pretty sure that's when people started getting struck, right? They were watching like Naruto and fucking all that shit. Obviously, they merchandise heavily, sell DVD, Blu-ray re-releases, have streaming services constantly. Like, I can see why they would be a bit more protective over their IP. Blu-ray, yeah. I know, I fucking misspoke. Nice one. Okay.
Trying to maintain a consistent position of attacking XQC.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was over. I'm pretty sure it was over anime stuff. It was like Disguised Toast got hit, right?
To chill XQC in the present. And so it's this tortured rationale, because the truth is what you just said, Tom. The truth is it would be deeply unpopular if he were to sue XQC. But that would be consistent with his past position, which is that even the unintentional siphoning, or the siphoning where their goal is actually to promote.
Pokimane watched Last Airbender. See, like, that, back then, that was like they were deliberately almost like poking the bear back then, right? They were like deliberately poking the bear. Oh yeah, I saw the Hightail stuff. We'll go over that later as well. We'll talk about that briefly. Dude, well, I might even do a Xander Hall Hightail segment. I might start searching his channel for mentions of Hightail, because that shit is so funny that he's been so excited for years and now it's cancelled. So funny. But yeah, Pokimane and Disguised Toast and all these people were kind of poking the bear a few years ago and just blasting anime on their streams, right? And they got a couple strikes. Stuff kind of cooled down. And a lot of these companies still just allow people to react to their shit. So this whole, guys, the big companies are coming. Dude, if you were saying this 5 years ago, maybe this would be remotely intelligent or true. But it's not.
In the other stream, that is bad by itself. That's why he's choosing to go after these people, and why he has to knot himself into pretzels, is because he knows suing XQC would be unpopular, condemning XQC would be unpopular, which is why he says he doesn't want to chill XQC, and he doesn't care to sue XQC. Why? Because he doesn't have a vendetta against XQC. And it's fine if you have a vendetta against these people, and that's why you want to sue them, yeah. But then just admit it.
Yeah, sure. I mean, as long as you're saying that, like, yes, he's saying that, like, there's this line, and that this line is what distinguishes him from the other people, but that's what you mean when you say he's the hero. Fine, I don't have a problem with that. That is not what I took it as. Is not what a lot of people I know heard you say took it as. But that, yes, that is what I'm saying. That is what I agree on, and the fact that yes, he is definitely doing this because he just doesn't like them, and that this is the rationale that like furthers that. But more so, this distinguishes him from coming after a commentary overall versus like just people who are a little bit more malicious.
Right? It's post hoc, and it's not what he was thinking before he did all this, right? He wasn't thinking.
But
he was setting a trap.
Do you think he would do it? Do you think he would do it if they because I think I think it's both. I think it's that he doesn't like them, and because they were overly malicious in the way they did it, this now gives him the ability, but it is both, that it has to if it was something that was broad sweeping, if they didn't say the malicious things,
you
would have gone after them anyways.
Yeah, you're asking me that question. My answer is yes, he would have still sued them. Now I'm going to ask it to you. If Denims had done the exact same infringing reactions, and these other people, exact same infringing reactions, but had just said like fuck Ethan instead of saying I want to take money away from him, and you didn't have all that stuff about the snark, that is to say, he set a trap, right? And let's imagine that there was no Reddit post. It's just as infringing of reactions, but you don't have the admissions. Do you think he would have gone after them?
I don't know. Maybe I would have, but I don't know.
He would have. What he was doing was he was setting a trap. He couldn't have known in advance that they were going to make admissions, Tom. So when he was planning this all out, it wasn't with the notion that we were going to have these, damning admissions. It was
Pisco's
he was trying to set a trap because of the infringement, and for you to buy that. Oh, if like I'll give you the final example. Let's say Hassan never made the admission, but he did just such a blatantly infringing content. But he never made the admission. He never said, don't go to Ethan's channel. But he did the kind of infringing thing. Do you think he would sue Hassan, yes or no?
Not after he told him to react to it 20 times, no.
Really?
Yes, that is him giving him permission. He is telling him, I want you to react to this on stream.
Let's go.
Yes, he said it numerous times.
Oh, Pisco. Pisco. End this man, Pisco.
There's no way you can sue somebody after telling them you want them to watch your stuff on stream. They're like, no shot.
Well, then I'll ask you, because you said the implied consent in the context of that. Do you think that that's implied consent for other people to do it? You're saying, Hassan, watch this. I want
legally.
I want
I
you
was
to
saying
watch
when
this.
I said implied consent, I said culturally, like YouTube culture, but I'm not saying legally there's implied consent. No, not at all.
So what do you think about this?
But I think in that case, that is consent. I would say that that's explicit consent. Yes, I want you to watch this on your stream 20 fucking times over and over. Just watch it already, bro. Just watch it already. Just review it already. Yes, I would say that that is explicit consent, not implied.
Okay. He also said that he was setting a trap for these people.
Yeah, I don't know that Ethan, I could be wrong. I've not heard Ethan say specifically, I give Hassan explicit permission to watch this video on stream. I've heard Ethan say stuff like, watch this video, why are you not watching the video? Are you scared of the video? Hassan watches Hassan won't watch this on stream because he's scared of it. He says stuff like that, but I've never heard Ethan say like something explicit like Hassan has permission to watch this on stream. And while that sounds like a sort of distinction without a difference, I don't know if it would be a distinction without a difference in the law. I felt that it might be kind of important as to whether someone just said you should watch this versus you have permission to use this in a commercial fashion, right? These aren't quite the same. I don't know what the law is or how that's been litigated before. So people take it as like a given that if you say, watch this, react to this, or something like that, that's enough. I don't know that's enough.
Who do you think he was setting a trap for?
I think that was also...
It could be, is it? Yeah. I'm just not sure on that.
Like, post hoc, like I think that he was just trying to dramatize it. If I was because I don't, what I don't know is if he actually
so he's
consistently.
lying. Wait, is he lying about that then?
He wanted Hassan to contest his points, not just laugh parts off, etc. He would have sued Hassan if he didn't react to his standard. Yeah, I mean, there's no way of knowing, obviously, but, I mean, I personally, I think that Hassan was the real target here.
I don't know. Again, that's just my thought process. As soon as I watch him
I
saying all this shit, I'm like, shot.
In order to believe this is why Tom, I think, is saying this now, because think about because Tom, I think you're recognizing the problem. In order to believe that this
I said this when I reviewed it.
Okay, but in order to think that this is explicit consent for Hassan, you have to think that, okay, Ethan was giving explicit consent to Hassan, but he was always also trying to trap the non-Hassan people. And I'm just like, what? Wait, so this was this Machiavellian strategy to give explicit consent to Hassan, but also to do a trap in the and he says it, right? Like, I wanted to make something so good that they would react to it. And so do you think it's plausible that he was giving explicit consent to Hassan?
Yeah, Tony, but the question is, what is permission, right? It's saying, you should watch this. Why are you scared of watching this? Is that saying you can commercially react to, you can commercially use my copyrighted work in your own work? I don't know that that's saying that. It's like a very specific thing, right? Just saying, watch it, react to it, whatever. I don't know that this is enough to totally waive your copyright protection. I don't know that that's enough at all.
Still trying to trap the other people into making admissions. Does that even pass the
Yeah,
smell
no,
test?
and this is one of the things that I said is that if he was actually doing this, and this is part of his plan, he would have come out with this when Denims announced a lawsuit against him. He would have said, oh, really? Well, I have a lawsuit against you too, but he didn't. And then now a week or two later, after she like closes her lawsuit and says, never mind, then he comes out with this. I think he wanted to just sue her because she was suing him.
You don't think he was trying to sue
this whole
Hassan?
fucking thing.
You didn't think he had a plan to sue Hassan? Because he knew.
Yeah,
that,
no.
Really?
No chance, obviously. Surely.
Again, especially not. I don't think he had a plan to sue any of them, but
Well,
like it just
okay,
the
so then
way
he's
that
Then
it
what?
was-
Okay, so why did he, before the release of the content nuke, register it with the Library of Congress? If it wasn't the plan the whole time, if he wasn't planning this, why did he register it before the release? What a stupid thing to say.
Seems weird,
So
and
then he's
again, he
lying.
gave explicit consent.
So
Yeah, probably.
You think he's probably lying about?
Yes, Tom
okay.
is retarded, yes.
I mean, I don't like Ethan.
That's my problem
I
then.
think he's kinda weasel, so.
My problem is if he's lying about stuff, I just don't. And I think he's lying about the
Well, no, Pisco should actually... Pisco has sort of just allowed that for some reason. He should actually fight on that point. He should say, well, why did Ethan register it before it was released then? If he wasn't planning this, why was that done before the release? Obviously, it's been an idea in his mind for a long time.
the savior rationale. I think he's being or at least disingenuous. I don't think that. So even in your version, Tom, you think that Ethan is lying about setting a trap.
Yeah, sure. So let me explain like my thought process is like there's a bunch of people that
No, he only did it with the countdown and the content nuke, I believe.
that I would love to sue. They're just a bunch of pieces of shit. If I could find something to sue them on, or if I had like the resources or whatever, I would do it.
Seething,
But
still seething.
There's like a line there where I need them
That's
to
Ryle, by the
actually
way,
like
or
cross that line in
Or
order
Jay
for me to
Stone.
feel as though I would actually be vindicated in doing so. Whereas I could find any little thing to do it, but I would need them to actually do something
the
that's
much more-
above and beyond in order to do it, right?
Isn't the more plausible scenario that he was planning to sue this entire time, and that's why he registered the copyright, because he knew doing so gives
God bless.
this
God bless.
the remedy in court and the statutory.
Why would I assume that Pisco wouldn't come up with that question on his own?
Damages, like he was pre-registered because he intended to sue, and so I don't know why you would say you think he's lying about that. I think he was telling the truth, but the problem is
Oh, it's Sherry Ann here in chat gave him that one.
Maybe
that stated
that's what I'm
rationale.
saying. I don't know if he does this regularly.
He doesn't.
what
You can
regularly?
go look at the copyright filings, dipshit. Dude,
He does what
do the slightest bit of fucking research.
regularly?
Oh my God.
Pre-registers his content because it,
Yeah, so basically he registered the content nuke before its release, and then 2 months after it all happened, he registers the stream that was counting down to the content nuke. I think, personally, what happened is because Denims actually did a very long reaction to the content nuke, and he wanted to get Denims. 2 months later, he registers the countdown stream because Denims did not react to that as much. And he wants to make sure he can get her on something. I personally think, no way of knowing, but the stream was not registered until 2 months after it all happened.
If I was his size, I would. If I was his size, I would
Really? You would pre-register
pre-registering.
every stream and every video you drop if you were that size? That is not common practice.
And in the past, when he talked about it, he said that like a while ago, he said, I'm opening up my IP in my copyright, and that like I've talked to my lawyers, like we're allowing people to use IP to a certain extent. He drew some lines around it, but he said like to a certain extent. And so it sounded to me like he was copywriting everything back then, but maybe not.
I wasn't aware of this. So he made
He was not, no. Okay, I mean, Tom's just not bothered researching anything. He wasn't copywriting stuff back then. He said that, but you obviously have, like, there is, like, an inherent level of copyright protection when you produce a work, right? This is about getting it registered with the Library of Congress so that you qualify for the statutory damages. But only these has he registered.
And saying he's, quote, opening up his IP.
Mm-hmm.
I might need to revisit those statements then.
So he has changed it
Pisco.
numerous times since. So he said it a while ago, a couple years ago, then later said, okay, we do have to start like changing this a little bit. And now he's like, because one of the problems is we're starting to make things members only, and people are stealing the members only content and then putting it up, and this is becoming a problem because then nobody has an incentive to be a member anymore. And so then he changed it again later, saying, hey, there's channels that are uploading a lot of our content. It is like fair use as long as you're like trying or something. We're not going to take you down or anything.
I will take a look.
Dude, yeah, Pisco's like, you're trying to fill in a whole narrative for me right now. You're desperately trying to make me buy in something here. How about Tom? I've heard the important part, which is this ain't clear cut. I'll look into this one myself. Stop giving me your fucking bullshit information. Actually, Pisco's mind is just like it's a fortress, man. This is awesome. So, dude, I'm fucking glazing. I'm glazing this guy. Pisco's just epic. Pisco's epic.
Just re-uploading full VODs. So, yeah.
I will take a look at those statements. That might make things more interesting. And from the license front, I'll take a look at those statements, what kind of caveats he puts in. You know, if you're opening up your IP, you know, you better be careful about how you phrase it. That's all I'll say, because I was yelling at Lycan before. A lot of the case law he was pointing to had to do with, like, open licenses and stuff like that. I'm gonna need to take a second look at that case law given those statements, and I might have to look at those statements. So I'm just saying, I didn't know that he potentially opened himself up to that argument by, quote, opening up IP. I'm going to revisit those statements actually a little bit more carefully, but I'm glad that we can agree. At least from your perspective, he's lying about one thing. He's lying about the fact that this was planned from start. I think that's a preposterous. Like, why would you say that he's lying about that? About that this was a plan to sue, when it seems pretty like he says that he was planning to sue. He registered his work. He's trying to at least bait people into watching it, right? And so, wouldn't the more plausible lie be, well, this was all to protect the community? That's what I take to be the more plausible lie. And we can just, I think, very plausibly say that what's motivating him is not protecting the community, it's going after his enemies. And that's, again, fine. But then don't sell us.
I think it's more so he doesn't want to do something that would also like implicate himself. He doesn't want to sue somebody because he also does React content. He doesn't want to implicate himself, and so he wants to like at least have like
but H3 does fair use. He does fair use, I would say, and he probably thinks he does fair use. Right. Who he doesn't think does fair use, and who he thinks is infringing by his own statements are people like XQC. He says, I could have sued XQC. Why? Because XQC, by Ethan's lights, does infringing work. And he's before critiqued XQC specifically for being infringing. He's gone after XQC, saying it doesn't matter if you have the best of intentions when you're infringing, right? You brought up the fact that XQC said, well, it doesn't matter because until someone tells me it's not infringement. Ethan, like, very viciously fought against XQC, said, no, you can't just assume that it's benevolent. And it doesn't matter if your intentions are benevolent. It's still an injustice. That's Ethan's position. And so now, all of a sudden, he says, I don't want to chill what I previously critiqued as an injustice. That's what's disingenuous, Tom. The fact that before he was so heavily saying, it doesn't matter if you have benevolent intent, it's still wrong. Against XQC, who said it doesn't, you know, the default should be that it's okay. And now he's saying...
Dude, wait, so yeah. In H3's last stream, he said that only applied to H3 podcasts, not videos on H3 production or something like that. Well, it's a good thing that Denims, when she reacted to the H3 podcast thing, that was open license, I guess, and when she reacted to the content nuke, she was transformative. So everyone's going to be against that lawsuit, right? So everyone's going to be against that, right?
Oh, I wouldn't want to chill XQC. The reason he's doing that is because he knows suing XQC would be unpopular, but he has to try to have a greater narrative of protecting the commentary community because he doesn't want to be accused of being this kind of person who's like petty. But that's my take on it, and that's what I think is disingenuous. If he just petty, yeah. If he just said this is petty, this is because they're infringing and I don't like them, I wouldn't have a problem. I wouldn't be doing this, but everyone is saying, no, he never said that. He never claimed to be a savior, and he is being a savior, and this is a justifiable line, and he did pre-plan it. It doesn't pass the smell test.
Okay. I did send you, just now, I sent you a DM with one of the, like, amendments that he made to opening up his IP. And so that's just one clip of him, like, talking about what he's changing. But yeah, there was a lot of back and forth on it where he would say one thing, then amend it again, then amend it again. And the amendments did make sense because, again, like he was adding like, you know, members only stuff to it, and that like now people are paying for that content. So now it doesn't make sense to allow people to just take it. And
I'm going to have to do some case law research on implied licenses, oral implied licenses.
Dude, how did Kuihman get Chud to snake Tommy C and Nicholas, then get Pisco to go against DGG hard? Yeah, it's all my manipulation, not just people coming to the right obvious take slowly as some of the brainwashing gets pushed too far.
All that stuff, because I have no idea what the case law is on that and how amendments work and whether it's kind of like a reasonable observer perspective on what, like, because you can't know, right? Like when you open up your license like that and you don't
work on Loanerbox. Loanerbox, I still see a human inside Loanerbox. Okay, I look into Loanerbox's eyes. I do see humanity. Okay, I do see humanity in Loanerbox's eyes. He said, I watched some of his stream from yesterday. He took the side of the truth, the side of justice. In the Vadim issue, he said Ethan lied about the DMs. Ethan's the one that backed out. He called his chat sides cocked. It was brave. It was powerful. I saw a human, a real human being.
Document that encapsulates all the terms and conditions, and you just say it out loud. I don't know what standard is applied there. I'm going to need to do research on it. I don't know if you're going to be able to enforce and like assume that people are watching each of your streams to get the different terms and conditions and amendments without posting a written document. And I don't.
Oh, wait, guys, I actually saw a clip. I was actually going to send this to Loanerbox. I was thinking about sending this to Loanerbox and being like, is there something I'm missing here, or is this as depraved as it seems? So check this out. This is Destiny in Israel. Okay, this is Destiny in Israel. What's he saying here?
I think Israel has unique issues. Here's the one piece of advice I'll give you, okay? If you're joining the IDF, okay? Leave your fucking cell phone at home and stop taking stupid fucking videos, okay? Because everybody's fucking you with them, okay? And if you see a soldier, okay, going through a fucking drawer, and listen, if you want to fucking wear a dress and you think it's funny, just don't fucking take a fucking video picture of it, okay? Jesus. Okay, yeah. Yeah.
So it's not, how about when you're killing people, don't desecrate their belongings and raid their shit. It's, don't leave anything behind. Don't leave evidence behind. What an insane thing to say. These people literally live inside 22 seconds clips and they still have anything to say about anything. Okay, so what's the context? So, okay, he's doing the Hassan thing here. He's doing the Hassan classic. No, you don't understand, it's out of context. Okay, so what's the context? Why are you not explaining it? And someone replies, Destiny, you my dog. What's the full context of this? 13k views, Destiny hasn't replied. And there's no DGGO with a good response. No DGGO with a reasonable response. Nothing. This literally is just Destiny out in Israel saying, hey, if you join the IDF, don't film yourself desecrating the belongings of the people you kill. Do it in private. Right before the clip starts, he says, this is my impression of a war crime enthusiast. Dude.
I don't know what the effect of that is on the implied license or license argument. I have no idea about that. I will be doing research. I'll be doing case law research because, hey, who knows? Maybe denims at all have a greater case than I thought. Maybe I'll have to make a retraction video, and I'll have to make an amendment video to my own video to bring up this other argument and say, huh, maybe it's not as open and shut as I thought. Very interesting, and thank you for bringing that to my attention.
Yeah, but I do agree. There's no way that he could have said, I went ahead and filed this copyright ahead of time, and also I'm only doing it because of this line, and I didn't want them to, break my copyright. So, well, it sounds like you're saying you did want them to, and that you set the trap. So that does imply that you wanted them to do this. So yeah, there's a lot of contradicting statements in there that I feel like you got to pick one side or the other, or somewhere in the middle.
I think that's right, Tom. I think that part of this narrative that Ethan is portraying makes no sense whatsoever. That some of it has to go. Either this wasn't pre-planned, or he was, and he's very granularly
Okay, Alex D, you almost got me there, man. You almost got me there. I remember you literally trolled the other night. It's like, bro, there is no one on the face planet Earth that is saying Tom raped Pisco. That is not a thing. That is nothing that will ever happen.
Intentional siphoning and non-intentional siphoning, even though that nuance never mattered to him in the past. Before, he was gun-ho against XQC, trying to say that distinction mattered. That's the key thing here, right? Like, before, when XQC was saying, but I'm not intentionally trying to steal people, I'm trying to help them, it was Ethan who said it didn't matter. But now it matters. Now, of course, it matters because we have those admissions, and we have to think, well, did he plan those admissions to happen? Did he really think that it was going to happen? And was he really like, oh, yes, when this is all a big, massive strategy to help the community? Or is this a post hoc rationale that he's developed? And I think it's a post hoc rationale to not upset the apple cart, to not get the juicers against him, to not get the Asmongolders against him, and to try to get as neat a coalition as possible.
Excellent things happening on Twitter right now. You do commissions on Wigglers? I do, but only for small, non-commentary creators or for non-stream use. If that fits you, feel free to get in touch over Discord. My tag is Hellscapism. Alex Gekman is saying, I'd like to announce I'll be trading in AI using Helmet's art so I can sell Wigglers to small commentary creators for on-stream use.
To go after people that everyone hates on the internet. All these lefties that say dumb shit, and that's what he wants to do. And it's about alliances, and it's about crafting this thing that's not actually motivating him, and it's all about just getting friends.
My Wiggler remains the best. My Wiggler owns Hellbents. Boggs Wiggler design totally owns, totally wins.
On your side. And that's why I resent even more when an independent thinker sees through that bullshit and calls it out. All of a sudden, the friends come in and say, oh, you're just trying to cozy up to Hassan. Oh, you're this and that. Fucking absurd. And I'm glad you came on here and you're acknowledging something about this story doesn't make sense.
Well, I mean, you did believe the Hassan airport story, and even after it looked like he admitted that he got an email a while before saying,
oh, you want to do that now? Let's do that now.
No, my Wigglers are all made by Bog Squander, okay? The Patrick Bateman one, the Jew one, the Knox one, all of them are Bog.
Do that now? All right, let's do a pause. Well, when we make this, and by the way, I'm so pissed off that the internet
Gojo one,
working, part way and split up the VOD. Tom, how are you doing, by the way? Can we just take a little break before we get into something?
Yeah, doing well.
Do that now? Let's do that now. Say, oh, you're just trying to cozy up to Hassan. Oh, you're this and that. Fucking absurd.
Wait, what happened there?
Thing that's not actually motivating him. And it's all about just getting friends on your side. And that's why I resent even more when an independent thinker sees through that bullshit and calls it out, all of a sudden the friends come in and say, "Oh, you're just trying to cozy up to Hassan.
Spit your shit,
oh, you're
Pisco.
this and that." Fucking absurd. And I'm glad you came on here and you're acknowledging something about this story doesn't make sense.
Spit your shit.
Well, I mean, you did believe the Hassan airport story, and even after it.
What a fuck up. An immediate fuck up from Tom. Aggroed. Immediately aggroed. Pisco, disgusted. Disgusted by Tom here.
Looked like he admitted that he
What
got
part?
an email a while before saying
Oh, you
that
want to do
he
that now? Let's do that now.
was
Yeah, Kill Bill sirens going on, just Ironside hitting. Just fucking Ironside hitting. Just...
that he
What
got
part?
an email a while before saying
Oh, you want to do that now? Let's do that now.
Was
You want to do that now? All right, let's
Yeah,
do a
sure.
pause. Well, when we make this, and by the way, I'm so pissed off that the internet stopped working, like partway and like split up the VOD. Tom, how are you doing, by the way? Can we just take a little break before we get into the Hassan thing?
Do you need a moment to catch your breath, Tom, before I rape you again? Tom, do you need a little bit of downtime between these sessions of rape I'm about to put you through, Tom?
yeah, doing well. Trying to. I saw Khalil got out. I know you were
Yeah.
one of the other people who was covering that pretty heavily as well. So yeah, that's.
Did you see
that was
Aristocracy's tweet at me, dude?
Bro, I saw the one. Hold on, I saw the one where she kept talking about like why are you downing this lawyer's capabilities? And I'm like, bro, Eris, you didn't read the fucking complaint, dude. If you just read the complaint, you would know. There's a fucking meme, dude.
There's like typos on every page. I don't know if it's on every page, but there's typos all over the place. And again, I was never saying, I kind of took as a granted, maybe even too quickly, because you're here telling me that the analysis that, at least on the content nuke, that it was fair use, that you actually think for the content nuke it's fair use. You said that, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, if you go watch it, like it's 4 hours long, dude. It is a lot.
You know what? I'm gonna watch all of Denim's reaction, and I'm going to update and see if I think that the content. Now maybe the other part isn't where it's the whatever interview or whatever. Maybe that part is very clearly infringement. And that's the part I think that was being highlighted in the video where she was like stepping away and stuff. And so maybe I'll have to take a look at the actual content new reaction and maybe update my opinion about whether that constitutes fair use. If what you're telling me is,
because yeah, I don't think he's going to be able to get denims very well because these are two separate things. Like he's using a statement that went towards the content nuke where she says that she has intent to replace him in the market, but then it's like it's the fucking video where she doesn't qualify for fair use. So even this is the problem, is that even if you and this is what I have to keep like explaining over and over, is that if I have like a 10-minute video and I take like 3 fucking hours to review this 10-minute video, it doesn't matter if I get to the end of it and I'm like, I'm definitely replacing these people in the market. Everybody's going to come watch my video instead of theirs. It doesn't matter that I said I intend to do a thing that I didn't actually do.
No, 100%. Yeah, no. So what? Because of course, intent is not an element here. It's not. It's really not. And so I'm going to admit something that I was wrong. And I really mean this. This is not ironic. I was wrong to make an assessment of fair use for the content nuke without watching that video. Lycan called me on it, and he was right about that. I'm going to have to rewatch that entire video of Denims to come to a reassessment about whether I think that video is fair use. I think that it's important for me to watch that, and I will give you guys a reassessment after having watched that content. I took Ethan at his word, but of course, just like Hassan always lies, if you admit that Ethan is lying now about what he planned to do.
Dude, Pisco, I'm just going to glaze. I'm just going to glaze. But it's just like great that he's actually standing on these points.
We should question and, trust but verify that this actually isn't fair use. And we should compare that actually to what XQC did and really take a look at this. So I'm going to watch all of that video to reassess whether it's fair use. I think
that windy shit, the windy shit is so embarrassing. Dude, I could not believe how much of a pussy he was being. Holy shit. It's crazy.
The interview one as well, I'm going to watch. It's likely I think that there's probably some infringement somewhere, but I just think that it was wrong of me to make that assessment without watching the video first. I think that was wrong, and I completely apologize for doing that. And thank you for bringing that to my attention. You said that it's fair use, and so I'm going to take another look at it. I'm going to do another...
Wendy is just like 24/7 in chats, just like on my dick, talking about me non-stop when I'm not there. One time, I pulled him up on it, and I said... you're talking shit about my Carl Jobs Billy Mitchell take. And we spoke about it in a VC offline. And he was way, far and away, calmer, shall we say, to my face than he was in chat messages when I'm not there. Like, night and day. And so I was like, okay. And he ended up agreeing with what I said. So, okay. All right, man. I'll remember that. I'll remember the way you acted before I spoke to you versus when I spoke to you. And then what do you know? He keeps going in chats non-stop, talking crazy shit on my dick. He's in Parry's chat this morning. Makes a snide comment. I'm like, hey, man, if you've got like a disagreement with me, you can always just call in. Stops talking for like 10 minutes. And then he thinks he sees an opportunity to take a dig again. And he goes again. And he goes again. It's like, dude, call in. Just call in.
Also, you brought to my attention this open license thing where he apparently claimed to open up his IP maybe with some conditions. And now Lycan's research that he was providing me seems to be perhaps a little bit more relevant. And so I'm going to take a look at the case law on implied license.
Thank you for the 50 Danish kroner mirror. Huge appreciated. I might be a lawyer, but I had never thought about what this YouTuber Tom Dumbfuck said. A joke about my intent would change the whole case. Thank you for the 50 Danish kroner. Huge appreciated.
Licenses for copyright, what they entail, if they're oral, if they're not written down anywhere. And so I think that everyone who's reacted has inspired me to really, with a magnifying glass, take a closer look at these claims here, because there's something fishy here.
Yeah, but yeah, if you watch the, like I said, I posted like a short video that just kind of like shows the what like his video is talking about, and then the statement is applied to something different, and you can't say her intent is for this, but they're gonna apply it to the other thing. So yeah, it's
that said, I do want to say one thing.
Weird.
My critiques still go through, in my opinion. My critique of the complaint being unhinged goes through, and my critique about the disingenuousness of this protection rationale goes through. And so those I take to be completely still my positions. Absolutely yes. And so I will be taking a second look at the underlying fair use and infringement issues, because we need to get to the bottom of this. And I'm so grateful that the reaction has been so strong, because it's actually encouraged me to take a look at my own biases. And I think this is very positive. And really, I want to thank you, Tom.
But you also know, I think it's like important to mention, like it especially legally, this is a norm where like when you first file your first complaint, you're throwing shit at the wall a lot of times. Like it's not always like this is exactly what we think exactly happened and we're gonna get all of this right now. Like a lot of it's throwing shit at the wall, just trying to see how much you can get through to the actual jury trial.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, but that doesn't justify his
video.
The kind of rhetoric at issue there. Well, the video, yeah, but the rhetoric here where it's like the alt-left's Kellyanne Conway talking about Hassan being the Grand Mufti, the pictures of Hitler, the constant typos, the not blue booking citations that look like shit, the multiple levels of paragraphs that are like 4 or 5 levels beneath on a complaint.
This guy's saying, I will look into this like it's 100% a threat, dude.
Law on fair use in the middle of a pleading, which I don't take to be appropriate. The fact that it's 80 pages long on a simple infringement case. All of this to me indicates it's not good legal advocacy. And I don't even...
Lewis, you're in the wrong fucking stream if you have lost respect for Pisco over his coverage, because Pisco's completely right on everything he's saying about this, you fucking idiot.
I think it works
it could have been 5 pages at most.
Yeah.
It's kind of insane.
But we'll take I'll just say, well, I'm going to have to reassess some of the underlying infringement stuff as relates to the denims thing. And you know what? I'm going to have to take a look at all these videos. We need to get to the bottom of it. And thank you, Tom, for that. All right, let's take another quick. Okay. The Hassan thing, the detainment issue. I know my chat and my observers, everyone is so waiting in the wings for me to argue this again, but what do you take to be the issue with my position?
Keep the echo chamber intact, he says, as he leaves Pisco's community because he heard a take he doesn't like, comes here, hears a take he doesn't like, and leaves. Awesome stuff. Excellent things happening here. Big things happening.
So I don't think that it's safe to say that they did infringe upon Hassan. And I think that the fact that there is always like one of the reasons that the CBP says that they will stop and do random searches like this at the airport is because they is for random stops. Even like there sometimes they don't even have a reason and they are just going to randomly stop people regularly. That even this makes it to where we just have no idea why he was stopped. And then we can get to this afterwards, but I would also say that even his conduct online might be enough to where he would just be considered some sort of threat, and they wouldn't give him this privilege to for the what is it called, expedited pass.
So I want to break this up structurally so we understand what we're talking about in every given instance. So first is like a factual question.
Okay, so I think this is the end of the Ethan Klein lawsuit discussion, I believe.